For over 3 centuries, 2 colossal empires, the Russian and the Ottoman, were locked in a seemingly endless struggle for dominance. Their rivalry, fought across vast landscapes from the Balkans to the Caucasus, wasn't just about territory. It was a clash of cultures, religions, and ambitions. This epic saga, filled with dramatic battles and cunning diplomacy, ultimately saw the Russian Bear consistently get the better of the Ottoman Crescent, reshaping the map of Eastern Europe and the Middle East forever. Today, we're diving into how Russia humiliated the Ottoman Empire, time and time again. It all started to seriously heat up in the late 17th century with Peter the Great. Peter was a man with a vision to transform Russia from a landlocked, medieval state into a modern European power. A key part of this vision was securing access to warm water ports and the Black Sea, controlled by the Ottomans and their vassals. The Crimean Khanate was the prime target. Peter's Azov campaigns were a brutal learning experience. His first attempt in 1695 was a failure, but Peter wasn't one to give up. He returned a year later with a newly built fleet and took the fortress of Azov. This was a symbolic victory, Russia's first foothold on the southern seas. Although the Ottomans later retook Azov, Peter had shown that Russia was now a force to be reckoned with. The seed of a long and bloody rivalry had been planted. Terrible game-changer came with another formidable Russian ruler, Catherine the Great. In the late 18th century, Catherine launched what would become the first truly devastating war for the Ottomans. The Russo-Turkish War of 1768 to 1774 was a masterclass in Russian military superiority under commanders like Alexander Suvorov and Pyotr Rumyantsev. The Russian army, though often outnumbered, won staggering victories at Larga, Kargil, and Kozludzha. But the real shocker happened at sea. The Russian Baltic fleet embarked on an audacious journey, sailing all the way around Europe to the Aegean Sea. In the Battle of Kozludzha, they annihilated the Ottoman navy in a fiery spectacle. The war ended with the Treaty of Kutchu-Kanaji, a document that was nothing short of a humiliation for Istanbul. Russia gained significant territory on the Black Sea coast, the right for its merchant ships to pass through the Turkish Straits, and, most importantly, was declared the official protector of Orthodox Christians living within the Ottoman Empire. This last point was a diplomatic bombshell. It gave Russia a permanent excuse to interfere in Ottoman internal affairs. A lever it would pull again and again for the next century. The Crimean Khanate, a longtime Ottoman ally and a thorn in Russia's side, was declared independent, but everyone knew it was just a matter of time before it was swallowed by the Russian Bear. And indeed, in 1783, Catherine annexed Crimea outright, securing Russia's dominance over the Black Sea. The Ottomans, burning with a desire for revenge, tried to undo the damage. They declared war again in 1787, hoping to reclaim their lost territories and pride. This turned out to be a catastrophic miscalculation. The war was another parade of Russian victories. The legendary General Suvorov stormed the supposedly impregnable fortress of Izmail, a battle so brutal it became infamous throughout Europe. When the dust settled, the Treaty of Yassy in 1792 confirmed all of Russia's previous gains and pushed the border even further west. The Ottoman Empire was now clearly on the back foot, its military seeming hopelessly outdated against the disciplined and modern Russian war machine. The 19th century saw this pattern continue, but with a new twist. The Eastern Question. The other great powers of Europe, Britain and France, started to get nervous. They worried that if the Ottoman Empire collapsed completely, Russia would become too powerful, upsetting the delicate balance of power on the continent. This concern led to one of the few instances where the Ottomans managed to stave off complete disaster: the Crimean War in the 1850s. This time, when Russia went to war with the Ottomans, Britain and France joined on the Ottoman side. The war was a bloody and poorly managed affair for all involved, but it succeeded in its primary goal: to check Russian expansion. Russia was defeated and forced to sign the Treaty of Paris, which demilitarized the Black Sea and temporarily halted its southward push. It was a brief reprieve for the Ottomans, a victory won not by their own strength, but by the intervention of their powerful new friends. However, this alliance was a temporary fix for a terminal problem. The Ottoman Empire, now labeled the sick man of Europe, was crumbling from within. Nationalist movements were sweeping through its Balkan territories, and Russia was more than happy to fan the flames, positioning itself as the liberator of its fellow Slavic and Orthodox peoples. The final, decisive confrontation came in 1877. Spurred by brutal Ottoman crackdowns on uprisings in the Balkans, Russia declared war once again. The Russian army marched through modern Romania and Bulgaria, winning a series of hard-fought battles, most notably the epic siege of Plevna and the heroic defense of the Shipka Pass. The Russian soldiers, chanting for the faith, the Tsar, and the fatherland, pushed all the way to the outskirts of Constantinople itself. The Ottoman capital was at their mercy. The resulting Treaty of San Stefano was the ultimate humiliation. It proposed creating a huge, independent Bulgaria, essentially a Russian satellite state in the heart of the Balkans. This was too much for the other European powers. Fearing a massive shift in the balance of power, they convened the Congress of Berlin to revise the treaty. While the final terms were less severe for the Ottomans than San Stefano, the outcome was still a disaster. Romania, Serbia, and Montenegro were officially granted independence. Bulgaria became an autonomous principality. The Ottoman Empire lost a massive chunk of its European territory, and its prestige was shattered beyond repair. From Peter the Great's first forays to the gates of Constantinople in 1878, the story is one of consistent Russian military and diplomatic triumph over a declining Ottoman state. Russia's relentless drive for war-motor ports, its military modernization, its clever use of religious and ethnic ties, and the sheer ambition of rulers like Peter and Catherine proved to be a combination the Ottoman Empire simply couldn't handle.